YouTube live video đó.
Aware about NEP 2020. It has been talking about what NEP 2020 has been talking. It has been talking about
Ơi,
all-round
ayo.
development of students. Okay, it talks about a kind of capacity building. Okay, capacity enhancement is a very significant area of NEP 2020. Not only the capacity of the students, but also the capacity of the teachers, capacity of the whole educational system. That means they are talking about the NEP 2020 document that is talking about that to develop a kind of 21st century skills. So 21st, if we talk about 21st century skills, then it depicts a new vision. It depicts a kind of transformation. Transformation in my skill, transformation in your skill, transformation of the skill of the nation. Therefore, this transformation is very inevitable and we have to transform ourselves. If I'm a student, if I'm a teacher, everywhere it's applicable. That I have to transform myself from within. I have to visualize that where to go. That is the basic necessity that what I'm talking about. And if we look at the National Institution for Transforming India, NITI Aayog, then we find so many such visions. For example, the Viksit Bharat vision I have already talked about, that it talks about a kind of developing India's economy to the large extent. Now, how to make possible that economic development? For that, you need to revamp the agricultural transformation. For that, you have to revamp business transformation. For that, the whole study behavior has to be revamped. Therefore, if we look at the NITI Aayog recently released, the just example I am talking about, the sectoral roadmaps in 2026 I am talking about for the cement, aluminium and MSME sectors. So detailing how these industries will grow sevenfold, okay, while simultaneously hitting net zero targets. So sevenfold increase in 2026. India has been talking about sevenfold. How good with about the cement, aluminium and MSME sectors, and again targeting net zero. Again, the net zero question is very important, and I think we have to look at also the climate change effect in sustainable development goals. I think we are all aware about the sustainable development goals. For that, we must know that we have started Millennium Development Goals in 2000. If we talk about this century, in 2000, the whole world started Millennium Development Goals with 8 goals to be completed by 2015. And if we look at them, we have completed somehow to some aspects, and the whole system is failed to some extent, to some aspects. Now, 2015, again, SDGs have been started by United Nations Development Program. And 17 goals were taken for all over the globe. Mainly Bhutan, mainly Thailand, mainly India, this is the reality. Recently, I was in Bangkok, in a ministry, I have seen that they are trying to make Thailand a kind of SDG familiar country. So similarly, government of India, people of India, they are also trying to make India a kind of successful country in regard to implementation of sustainable development goals. And if you go to goal number 13, what you get? You will get climate action. It talks about climate mitigation, it talks about climate adaptation, and this net zero is coming from that perspective. That means at the same time, you are trying to increase your industry sevenfold, and on the other hand, you are trying to minimize the carbon emission to zero. That's a kind of very interesting equation that we have to look at. That how to make development possible. These are very challenging equations. I repeat, these are very challenging. But we, the people, today's generation, we are here to make this possible, and we have to make it possible. So therefore, these kinds of international seminar, I appreciate Tangla College for organizing this seminar in such a wonderful topic. Now, if we look at so many other aspects, for example, as a student of political science, I must say that instead of earlier this conception of federalism, which was very much talked about bargaining federalism or like that, now it's like a competitive federalism has been started. Now, what is the essence? The essence is that the states were begging for funds from the center, but now it's performance based. Where states are competing on performance. So the competition on what? Between the states on performance. So many aspects like district-wise planning are being taken, which districts are performing more. If you look at the SDG or good governance index, these are possible to look at the district level. And therefore so many aspects are taken. In case of India, for this transformation, if you look at the Ministry of Panchayati Raj and Rural Development, the Panchayati Raj administration, here in Tangla, 6 civil administration is there. You may go, if you look at in Panchayati Raj administration, then you find a kind of system of social audit, which is based on local authorities. You will look at the e-Gram Swaraj portal, which analyze the local fund allocation, local utilization. That means the Gram Sabha or in BTAG, the local level of governance, they need to be revitalized in such a way that my village is having this kind of resources. And how my village, villages together may perform well with the resources available with me. And how to generate resources. These are the challenges. So this transformation process is not a kind of global only. Global transformation is possible only with local participation, only with individual dedicated participation. Therefore, it is the responsibility of all individuals to participate in the transformation process, global transformation process, in every aspect, making individuals capable. Therefore, the question of skill is one of the very important ingredients of the process of transformation. My skill may be different, your skill may be different, but we must have to develop our skills. Maybe individually different, but skills must be there. Without skills, no transformation. For transformation, skill is necessary. Now, if we look at Professor B.L. Ahuja and the keynote speaker, they have talked about this digital and AI frontier. I will not focus much, but this is also a very important tool of this transformation. And energy and green transformation is again very important area where the shift must be a kind of, in India is also focusing on energy and green transformation, the green governance, therefore the concept of green governance is coming up. And I have met one professor from our college from chemistry department. In chemistry, they are studying now green chemistry. So chemistry is focusing on green chemistry, political governance is focusing on green governance, and media is focusing on green transformation, zero emission. These things are very important. These things are very important to save our world. If world is not being saved, what is the need of this transformation? Transformation. I must refer one book, basically to the student. They must read Elizabeth Goldberg, written one book on sixth extinction, Ostro-Vilupti, sixth extinction. So how the things have been extincted. Vilupti hoy because of that, we find so many problems in the society. So one thing I will focus and I will conclude my lecture. So many things are there, but I will not make it longer. Our esteemed guests from Bhutan are waiting. We will listen to them also how this transformation has been going on in Bhutan. So if we look at in India India has been entering into a demographic dividend stage. Demographic dividend means when the young population, basically youths, the number of youths will be enhanced. Then when they bypass the number of old age population or like that, and as per data by 2030, India's working age population is expected to reach 1.04 billion, and the share of working age people, that is the youth number, in total population is expected to reach by 65% or like that. Now, when the share of the working age population exceeds, then any long age population, when we find available, I think it's called demographic dividend stage. And demographic dividend stage is very important.